record the lecture as well, and let's start. So if you can see my screen, we will continue with the remaining part. I'm recording it. I'll probably share the lecture with them. That's what I can do. Because again, postponing the class will not be the right thing. I just thought it right now. Okay. So we did discuss all the functions and all that. I would like to discuss is the validation today. Let me discuss validation. For example, I'll just open up any sheet. Now over here, let's say you need to validate a cell. Now, the reason why we validate is because we want to maintain data integrity. There are two ways through which data integrity can be maintained. One is validation and one is verification. Validation is done with the help of different built-in methods. This can be done through programming. This can be done through the backend at the databases. We have range check, we have length check, presence check, character check, parity check. So there are lots of checks available. And the reason why we have to do this is because if we do not validate, we will have lots of data entry problems. One of the reasons why computer databases were preferred was because they were avoiding errors and they were more efficient. And if you relate efficiency with validation, it's directly proportional. So while you're doing data entry and you're doing lots of data entry, if 20% of your data entry are wrong, then I think so there's no point of using computer systems. So the reason why I'm discussing this is because obviously the examiner might ask you to theoretically write something about it, so you should know it, right? Can you listen clearly? Is my internet fine?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is why validation, which includes all these checks, can be used. Verification is done by humans. We have double entry system and we have visual verification, which can be done. Both verification and validation will be used to maintain data integrity within a spreadsheet and a database. And we have also discussed validation, as you remember, in our database access lectures as well. How do we implement validation is our today's topic as well. So let's say I want to validate is over here H3. So I'll simply come into H3, I'll come into data, and over here you can see is I have availability of data validations. Okay, this is data validation. So I'll go to data validation, click on this, and you will see over here I have different options. I can validate whole number, decimal, list, date, time, and text length. We'll discuss all of them. So if we click on whole number, this means I can write over here is minimum value 2 and the maximum value is, let's say, 9. I can input any message. I'm just randomly entering anything. You will get an idea what this is. Well, input message means that it will tell you that what you have to input message. So let's say if I enter 1, error message tells me that what the error is. So if such a kind of question does come in the exam, the examiner might say enter the following input message and enter the following error message. Or maybe the examiner might say that please enter a suitable input message and a suitable error message. Okay. In that case, I should have not done like this. I could have said over here was enter the age between 2 and 9. And error message could have been wrong entry. Please enter value between 2 and 9. So now if you see it's more better than the Cucamonga phobia I wrote. So now I can, let's say if I enter over here 3, it would rather accept it. And if I enter over here, let's say 12, it would say, please, wrong entry done. Please enter values between this, and I can retry. And unless and until I don't enter values which are right, I cannot proceed further. So as you can see that as far as your data validation is concerned, it's quite an important thing in spreadsheets as well. But this was simple, your whole number thing. I would turn over to, let's say, H4, and you can see over here is the next that I have obviously are decimal values. Obviously the same thing, the same procedure. I can enter between 1.1 till 1.8. Okay, so it's the same thing. List is interesting. Now list includes what? List can have values such as comma separated values. A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D, comma, F. And you keep on going on. Okay. And the same way you can enter input message and all that. But what happens over here? So if I click on this, I get a drop down and I can select from the drop down. Now, then why is this? Why is this considered as validation? Obviously, in fact, it's one of the best validation methods. Why is it? Because you can only select from the drop down lists, and you cannot select from any other. You cannot type it yourself. Okay, so this is the way this can be done. We could even further do more. I could you see this arrow which is right in front of the source. You click on this, and I'll simply select. Let's say I'll select the grades, for example. And I'll say okay. So I get the grades. So if you have any list, you can select the list. So I repeat again, you can select a list from here, any list that you may want to, and that particular list, right? So you can use that, right? This is your, as far as lists are concerned. I'll come to H5. In H5, now we have is the date. Now that's pretty easy. Any date starting like 1st January 2021 and 31st March 2021. You can only enter L values which are between this date and this date. Right. And then we'll have is time. Same goes with time. You can just enter time between. And then you have text length. Again, quite interesting. I can enter 3 to, let's say, 8. 3 to 8 characters. So if I try to enter over here is, let's say, just let me enter is AB, because we're talking about text length. We're talking about the number of characters. We're not talking about numeric value, please. So it says no. I should have given an error message again. So if I enter over is A, B, C, it's correct because I said three characters minimum. What did I say? I said 3 and 8. So let's say if I enter over here more, let's say I'll enter A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, probably more than, and it says no. So this is what your data validation tends to be like. I'll hold on and I'll wait if anyone has a question. If not, we can proceed.
Sir, there was a question that came that can visual verification be to check from the app itself, or do we have to go through all the records to do a verification?
Now, if I would answer this question the way you question me, visual verification can help us to find out major issues, errors, problems with the data. But when the amount of data is a lot, it exceeds a certain amount, visual verification will not be an appropriate way to maintain data integrity. We have to turn over to data validation. So for less records, maybe verification is fine. But for more records, I think so. I don't think so, and that's the genuine case. Validation should be implemented. I hope this is what your question was.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Anyone else has any question? Did you get validation? Please. It was really important. This could come in Excel again this time.
Sir, can you repeat again, just in brief manner?
But I'm recording the lecture if I can share it. Will that be fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But all I did was I'll just tell you what we did. I just went to a cell and I came into data validation. And today I discussed was whole number, how to enter whole number, decimal values. Okay, between this value and this value, message I entered. So, for example, whole number. What value do I want between 2 and 8? Enter message means what you have to enter. An error message if you do not enter, what error comes. So this is all I did discuss. I'll share the video with you. Is it fine? Because it was quite a detailed question. Okay. Right. So this was that. And next, what you should know is conditional formatting, which probably you are aware of, but I should be discussing it More, hold on, I just need more data. I just need more data. Tomorrow it's off, right? The school is off, if I'm correct.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, come on. Please, when you're practicing, ask me questions in the group. Do that, okay? If you have any problem, don't wait for the next class. Okay, keep on asking me. I don't get irritated, but I would just want you to end up with a very good grade. Keep in mind. So Sam is not going to get irritated. So as far as traditional formatting data is concerned, it simply means that if I select, for example, the following cells and I want to conditionally format them, format, by the way. So let's say I want to highlight all the cells which are greater than a particular value. Very interesting. It will highlight all the cells greater than, or I may want to highlight all the cells less than a particular value. Okay, you can frankly go to custom format as well, and you could say is I would like the fill to be yellow, so you can even highlight according to your preferences, or you may want to highlight all the cells that are between this value and that value, or you may want to highlight all the cells which are equal to a particular value. This could be really important. You know why? Let's say I want to find out duplicate values. Please listen to this carefully. The examiner has given you, let's say, 200 entries and says that there some of the entries are being repeated. So how would you find them out? I could open them in Excel and I could see which one are being repeated. There is no repetition over here. But let's say if there was one. Let's say I have this. I'll just copy this and I'll paste this over here. So I'll just select this again. I'll come into equal to, I'm sorry. No, not equal to duplicate values. Equal to means equal to different duplicate values. And here you go. I could highlight them with some other color, and here they're highlighted. Now, why could this be important? Can I just discuss a bit more advanced point? If you can get it, you will get it. Let's say a bit difficult question comes for access. And the examiner does is that gives you an Excel file in which there is a primary key. For example, customer ID is a primary key. And the examiners one wants that while you import the data, okay, obviously if customer ID, I cannot assign this as a primary key because two values are the same. They are not unique. For in order to make a field primary key, every record needs to be different. Do you know that? Do you know that, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Exactly. So primary key, every record has to be unique. That is something we know. What if the examiner says that we have provided you a file in which a student is trying to create a primary key but is unable to do so because there is a problem with the data, and you are allowed to delete one cell, one row. So what I would do is, let's say, I'm just talking about a very rare case, please. Okay. If such kind of question comes, what you will do is you will open up the sheet in Excel. The primary key field, you will select it. You will go to conditional. You will say, can you find duplicate? It will highlight all those cells that are duplicate. And since the examiner has given you the option that you can delete any one of the record to remove duplication, I would come here and I will simply say delete. Now, if I select this, there is no duplication. Now you can easily import into Access and you can assign this as a primary key. I hope I was able to explain my point.
Yes, sir.
Right, good. Again, the point I've discussed never came, but just a random scenario that we can be targeted with. Okay, I will inshallah try to discuss all these points 2 weeks before the exam as well. Again, okay, we'll have classes. If not in school, we'll have online classes 2 weeks before the exam so that we can brush up things and talk about important points as well. हम एक plan करेंगे इंशाल्लाह ज़रूर. Okay, right after your mocks. Okay, so this is what we have. Okay, and then we have is validation. May what else can we talk about? Let's see more. No, not validation. Sorry, custom formatting. May we can have is fine. This is done. Well, the rest are frankly not very important, but you can have a look, which means you can highlight all those cells that are top 10 items, top 10%, and you can show the bar values. Okay, it shows them or to color. Although, like I said, these are something very uh, basic. This one is important, which you should be aware of. Right. So this was your conditional formatting. We have discussed validation as well. You do know about the printing. You know how to put the header and the footer. You know how to put um, your information in the header, file name, file size, file path. In the sheet, you know how to display the grid lines, how to enable the row and column headings, right? So you do know how to display the formulas, control tilde, how not to show, and control tilde again. So if you press control tilde, click, by the way, tilde, I repeat again, is the wavy sign that you have below escape key, short key. So if you press control tilde, you see everything is not visible. I click on the right top corner and I double click. Everything is visible. Make sure when you send a printout on Thursday we have no, not Thursday, next Thursday, when you do Excel, your all printouts are visible. The printout that you get on your desk, make sure each and every cell is visible and it's readable. Just like when you do theory paper, you always try to write with illegible handwriting. So whenever you provide a printout, make sure the printout is also legible. You're providing your answer in a printout, and I've seen students doing it, and it's like this. The examiner cannot see a formula. If the examiner cannot see a formula, why would the examiner give you marks for? Yeah, for the values you get the marks, but for the formulas you will not get marks, not the full marks. You've done the paper, you've done everything, but you just failed to provide the proper evidence. So certain things are really important. Okay, so you double click, and that's what you have to do. Okay, control tilde again. Again, you see the hashtag appears when it's being compressed. I'll double click and I double click into columns. Again, it's properly visible. Then I can take a printout. Right? So this is how you take printouts. So we discussed everything. Can I go to a question paper now? Okay. If there's no question over here right now, I want to solve the paper with you.
Okay, sir.
Right. So we'll directly go there. Uh, Over here, missign.com. There are just two activities that I would like to discuss today right now. I will obviously tell you to do more, but for mock, I would suggest you to stick to the past papers, and there will be two more activities I will forward you. I'll tell you in the group that you can do one. So have a look at this one if you have done this or not. If you have done this before, I can try another one. Just let me know. 1 second. Have a look at this. Can you recall? Have we done this before? Have I given you ever?
No, sir, we haven't done it.
You haven't done it. So shall we do this today? It's very good. It has nested if, most nested if in the show which I want to discuss. Okay? Right. So we'll do it. 1 second. Let me get the sporting file. Extract to desktop. Okay. Spreadsheet. Where did it go? Okay, so let's start. Here we have it. I'll zoom in more. So your manager wants you to calculate new room prices for each bedroom. Use suitable software package, load the file n8rooms.csv. So here we go. init room.csv. Give the cell containing 42 the name SGL. So 42 has to be named, defined name as SGL. The cell 80 as DBL. And the cell containing 41 as BTH. Give the cell containing 3 as FR. 2 as TV. So a lot of cell definitions. 26. Format all cells in row 7 and all cells in column A to be centerline, italic, and embolded. So if centerline, italic, and embolded in row 7, I need to make them centerline, embolded means bold, and italic. Right. 27. In the column headed guest, enter formula which extracts the numeric value from the first character of the code. In the column headed guest, enter formula which extracts the numeric value from the first character of the code. So in guest, I want the first character of the code, so obviously what I'll do is I'll use is the left. Here we go, left of this and comma 1 because I want the first character. Here we go, I get the very first one. So I get 2, 3 and all that. And remember, probably this point will not be discussed here, but I did discuss this yesterday with you that if 2 comes on the left hand side of a cell, it's a text. 2 is basically a number.
Yes, sir, you did.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. Column A as well. So here we go. Thank you. Italic. So I was saying that if we type 2, 2 has to be on the right hand side and 2 is coming on the left hand side. This means this 2 is not a number. It's a text because it's being derived through a function. And just for discussion, again, repetition that if I use value, it would obviously convert this into a number, and this will come on the right hand side. So it's a number. But we are discussing this right now, so let me leave it. Just I wanted to discuss with you. 28. In the column headed basic, enter formula. Now this is where I wanted to discuss more. So in the column headed basic, enter formula that if the second character of the code is S multiplied guessed by SGL. If the second character of the code is D, then you multiply guessed by DBL. If the second character of the code is B, then multiply guessed by BTH. If the second character of the code is none of the above, return 0. So I would have over here is equals to if okay, let's get back. If the second character of the code is S, so I can't directly use it. What will I do? Can someone help me? If the second character,
Sir, are we going to use mid here?
very good. We are going to use mid. If the second character, so mid, this comma 2 comma 1 will give me the second character. Okay, it will give me D. Okay, it will give me D. 2 means go to the second character and extract me the second character, comma 1. If the second character, is S, so I'll say is equal to S, then multiply guessed by SGL. So guessed should be multiplied by SGL. Perfectly fine. Otherwise, if mid second character is equals to D,
So why do we enter one after the two?
because I want to extract the second one only. So 2D, so D will be extracted. If I write 2 2, then it will say DF. If I write 2 3, then DFT will be extracted. So
Okay, thank.
2 means the starting position, and 1 means how many characters you want to extract from. Just one, just D, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So if this is D, then multiply guess by DBL. So comma. I need to multiply. The guess should be multiplied by DBL, comma. If the second character of the code is B, then B multiplies by. So again, and obviously we have to use another if. So a very good practice. I would like you to do this again yourself. Do it again, okay? Because once you will do it yourself, you will realize it that how to go around with it. Comma 2, comma 1. So now we have is B is equals to B, and now we need to do is this multiplied by yes, and comma, this is we don't need another if, because he says that if the second character of the code is not none of the above, then obviously we do is we return it through 0, and we do that. So I'll applicate this down, and I could visually, now this is what visual verification is. I could visually go and see, is everything correct? So visual verification is telling me, yeah, fine. I don't see any wrong entry. If I really want to do it further, I could probably randomly just check that if I multiply, let's say it's S, so uh, this is starting with D. So in case of D, I have to multiply 80 by 2. So 80 by 2 is 160. Yeah, so it's correct. So if I visually verify and check things, one or two values can actually tell me the formula is right. So this is what visual verification means. Okay. So 29. In the column headed fridge, enter formula that if the third character of the code is F, return the content of F4. Again another if. So a lot of if4 here. So is equals to if again. And if the third character of the code is F. So again the same thing. I use made and comma 3 comma 1 is equals to F. Then do what? Then return the content of FR. So whatever is in FR, return the content of that. This one. Okay? If the third character of the code is not F, return 0. So then obviously write is comma 0 and you replicate. You get this. Right? 30. In the column headed television, enter formula that if the fourth character is T, return the content TV. Exactly the same thing. So is equals to if mid this comma fourth character 4 comma 1 is equals to TV, then return the content of TV, otherwise 0. So return this, otherwise 0. Right? Did we do it right? Can I just check? If the fourth character of the code is TV, then I'm sorry, it's not TV, it's T. It's not TV. It was T. Sorry. Right? Correct. Okay. In the column headed total, enter formula that will add together basic, fridge, television for that room. Okay, so we'll just need to do is use sum. Okay. Um, the rest of the part, I'm just doing it, okay? format the basic fridge to currency. Okay, so I have to make currency. Basic fridge total into currency Sri Lanka. Sorry, what was it? LKR. Done. Extract all the rooms where there is no fridge. So click filter. No fridge means these. So I'll come into fridge. Is this clear? How do I do all this?
Sir, can you repeat?
Sure, beta. So let me just turn it off. I clicked on the seventh. I came to filter, turn the filter, because the question said extract means filtering, okay? Filtering. There is no fridge. So uh, I need to find zero. Zero means there is no fridge, right? So I could even do is equal to zero, but I could simply not select this. The same thing. So there are no